essentially what it is there was all this debt that they had to make payments on, but they found out that instead of having to make the payment, like 90%, 94% of the debt got converted to stock. Now you might think, oh, that's awful news if we own the stock, because you're like, that's dilution event, right? All of a sudden there's more shares out there, and those people are going to sell those shares right away. Well, that's assuming that the people actually sell the shares right away. Maybe they're just like, well, let's get in cheap down here at the lowest price in a while and ride those shares up. So they're going to announce at some point what price this stuff converts at, and it's based on an average of a few days of the stock price, a volume-weighted average. So that few days of the stock price ends tomorrow. So let me just put this in your mind for a second. What if you really were, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories and manipulation, if you really were a big player and wanted to manipulate, how awesome would it be to manipulate the stock price down lower for these last couple of days, thus why the stock went way lower the last couple of days, and then come in and convert your debt into these cheap shares, and then blast the stock back higher again. Maybe they know something. Maybe like there is this thing is going to go in play. Maybe there's a suitor out there for this. I would not be surprised if a suitor came out here for this stock. I mean, you see it down at these lower prices. All right, here's the article, the Deep Dive CA. And let me pull this up so you can take a look at it here. All right. Aurora Cannabis debt holders agreed to convert 94% of $230 million debt. So $230 million, okay, we've already established that there's 1 billion shares outstanding. So it's easy to figure out the value of this company. You just multiply the share price by 1 billion. So $3 billion stock, $230 million debt, right? So that's a significant portion. So what is that? Like 5% or something? So they found out that instead of having the debt anymore, it's going to be converted to shares. So they don't have to worry about it anymore. It's off their backs. It's off their shoulders. So you might say, well, that's dilutionary because they're converting into stock. Yes, but this is good for the company. They don't have to worry about this huge debt that they were worrying about having to make payments on and having to figure out how to deal with. All of that worry is gone. Now they can turn around, focus on their business model, and maybe get back to, opening new stuff. And so let me just read the fine print once again for you here. The announcement from Aurora is significant as it enables the firm to focus its cash on other facets of the operation, such as paying down its accounts payable. The $230 million in convertible debentures coming due in March 2020 was previously a drag on the firm's financial outlook due to its becoming apparent that Aurora simply did not have the cash to pay it off. Well, that drag is now gone, folks. With Aurora now receiving confirmation that 94% of the debt will be converted, shareholders will have to remain patient as they wait the week out to determine the conversion ratio. As per filing made by Aurora on November 14th, the debt will be converted at a 6% discount to the 5-day volume-weighted average price that occurs between November 18th and November 22nd. Well, right now, we're on November 21st. So if we pull up the chart right now of ACB, and for the last couple days, and we look at where was the biggest volume. Well, the biggest volume was actually today, but if we just kind of eyeball this, well, what do you think the average, like volume-weighted average is right here? Let's see. I might fail at this, so let's see if I can pull up a VWAP here for the whole thing. Studies. Add study. Moving averages. Variable moving average. Moving average. Well, I'll keep looking on it for here, but because I'm not sure which one of these it's under. But let's just eyeball this here, okay? So we see the highest volumes today. So let's say, just for sake of argument, that the average price from this period is 2.7. So these guys are going to get to buy this at a discount to 2.7. But they may have... This period where the stock went way down is exactly in the middle of the period where they're pricing this thing from. So as they tank the stock, it means that these guys who now we know have converted their debt into shares are getting this discounted spot that's the lowest price in a long time, is exactly where they're getting to buy the stock. That should make your conspiracy tinfoil hat. You should be all putting on your tinfoil hats here. So let's just say, for example, that they all get to buy this stock at like 260, just to use an arbitrary figure. Now they own the shares. Now they turn around and they just pump it. They're like, news stories come out about this. You got to believe that people are perking up. There's news stories all over the place about Aurora right now. I just read one today saying that it's the heavily traded stock on Robinhood. Well, guess what? People are talking about it like crazy today. A ton of people jumped into this thing today, and everybody's talking about it. It's gotten visibility. Imagine if this thing just launches again tomorrow. That would be freaking awesome. Let me go back to the chart here once again. So if we look, the average over the last couple days, this is the last couple days right here. The average is going to be around like 2.260. So, these guys got to buy the stock at a discount. They might have acted, in some way to tank the stock, and now they get to buy it at this discounted rate, and then they might just bring this thing right back up, the hedgies, and they have a huge win for them. The assumption from everybody when this was going down every day was that these guys are going to convert the debt and then they're just going to dump the shares on the market. That's the whole thing of delusion, right? Is that when people have shares that are in a lockup or have shares that they can only convert after a certain date, the assumption is, well, as soon as they convert that stuff, they're going to dump the shares. Now, there's a certain percentage of people that would do that. Like, let's say that you were paid for some services rendered in stock shares instead of actual money. Or let's say you're an employee of this company and you have no wealth other than your wealth in these shares. Then, yeah, you're going to want to diversify and get out of some of this stuff. But there are others, and these players that did these bonds, they sound like they're a more savvy group of people than just your local guy who got into a startup and this is his first chance at real money and he's dumping it. These guys that are floating this debt have done this before, and it's not a given that they're just going to dump the shares on the market, especially with this price action we've seen lately. So I think this is a very bullish announcement. So let's see what happens tomorrow. It's really exciting. I'm excited about this one. Wouldn't it be amazing? Stranger things have happened, and all of a sudden we find out that this is in play somehow. I mean, if you're going to make a move on it, this would be a good time to do it, wouldn't it? When we're at the lowest price in a long time, the whole industry is depressed. We know it's a volatile industry, and we know it has a future. Boom. Let's see it happen. All right, my friends. We'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow, but this is exciting. That 214 looks like it's the bottom. It looks like it was a great... Imagine the people that bought it paying 214. Imagine the people that sold it. They're like, I can't take it anymore. Just sell it. Just get me out. Get me out. I can't take it anymore. Sold at 214. And then that's the bottom. That must be painful. Now, I don't want to sit here and revel in other people's losses. I really don't like that on StockTwits when people are like... all their time is spent trying to trash people who lost money. They were short and the thing went down, and they're just going to sit there and trash the other people that lost money. Why should you have such? Why should you revel so much in other people's losses? I don't think that's childish and not a cool way to act in life. So I don't like to see that on there. But wouldn't it be cool to see this just explode again tomorrow? That would be super awesome. All right, guys, I'm excited. This is exciting. Let's go. Let's go ACB. Keep it rolling. All we need is like another day up 18%. That would be awesome. All right. See you guys tomorrow.